and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. Barack Obama has said that he now personally supports redefining marriage. The US president, who is facing a national election later this year, gave this response when questioned by television channel ABC News.
For me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
Critics have attacked the president's comments, with religious liberty group the Alliance Defence Fund saying marriage is not something that politicians should attempt to redefine for political purposes. But Mitt Romney, the man likely to face Mr Obama in November's elections, has said that he supports marriage as being between a man and a woman. And in North Carolina, voters have approved a constitutional amendment which protects the definition of marriage solely as a union between a man and a woman. The amendment, which received support from significant numbers of Democrat voters, says marriage between one man and one woman is the only domestic legal union that shall be valid or recognised in this state. In every US state where citizens have had the opportunity to vote on the definition of marriage, they have backed the traditional definition. Meanwhile, in the UK, a pro-marriage petition set up by Coalition for Marriage has now passed 500,000 signatures. Colin Hart, the group's campaign director, said, "This campaign proves that the British people reject the government's plans to change the definition of marriage. They must listen to their voters. Changing marriage is not like raising or lowering the rate of VAT." The move would have profound implications at all levels of society and for all age groups. Last week, following the Conservative Party's poor performance at the local elections, Tory MP Gerald Howarth said the plans to redefine marriage were partly to blame. Christian doctors could face a new threat following the publication of a leaflet produced by the General Medical Council and homosexual lobby group Stonewall. It gives detailed advice about how a gay patient can lodge a formal complaint against doctors. Some Christian doctors have recently got into trouble for sharing their faith with patients, even though they have not broken any rules. The leaflet for gay and bisexual patients has been part funded by the Department of Health, but it fails to mention that a doctor has a right to freedom of conscience and the right to hold or express beliefs, provided it is done in a sensitive manner. These rights are set out in other GMC documents. Dr. Peter Saunders of the Christian Medical Fellowship is concerned that GPs could well become the subject of a complaint, leading to an inquiry, investigation or disciplinary proceeding, pointing out that one minority group seems to be getting special treatment from both the General Medical Council and Department of Health. The world's largest coffee shop chain, Starbucks, has said that supporting same-sex marriage is core to its values. The company has also put its name to a list of companies including Google, Microsoft and Nike endorsing a gay marriage bill in Washington state. A recent statement issued to Starbucks US staff stated that this important legislation is aligned with Starbucks business practices and upholds our belief in the equal treatment of partners, continuing, "It is core to who we are and what we value as a company." The company's controversial position has come in for criticism for meddling in political debate, and Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz was challenged at a shareholders' meeting to explain the company's position. And finally, the Reverend James Munro is celebrating after walking all 5 of his daughters down the aisle and then turning around to marry them. The final wedding of Reverend Munro's youngest daughter, Kirstine, came just in time as he's planning to retire later this year after more than 30 years' service in the Church of Scotland. The minister at Hamilton-Bardrainney Church in Port Glasgow said, "I think it's probably very rare for a minister to not only walk his 5 daughters down the aisle, but perform the ceremony as well." Reverend Munro's remarkable achievement began in 2001 at the wedding of Ailey, his first daughter to get married. Later that year, a second walk down the aisle saw Delina saying, "I do." Reverend Munro stepped up to the altar again a year later when his third daughter, Ishbel, decided to tie the knot. And in 2009 it was the turn of fourth daughter Anna to take her father's arm. Kirstine, the last daughter to marry, said, "It was very special to have my dad walk me down the aisle and then just turn around and perform the ceremony. I remember him going quite pale after my eldest sister's wedding when he realised he was going to have to do the same for all of us." Reverend Munro said, "I'm very proud and I'm pleased that all 5 of my daughters have found husbands and are settled, which means my job is done." Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.